안녕하세요. 어떻게 해요? 잘 지냈어요? 뭐해요? What's good, everyone? It's your boy Matt Diazable coming at you with a new EP review. Thanks for coming on by. Yeah, today I'm checking out the debut EP of Sailor Honeymoon, and it's just a self-titled, so Sailor Honeymoon. Whoop whoop. If you don't know anything about Sailor Honeymoon, they are a Korean indie garage slash punk band based out of Seoul, South Korea. I recently discovered them because a friend of mine lives here in Korea and we were talking about music. He's like, yo, you should check out this band called Sailor Honeymoon. I was like, that's a pretty good name. And I decided to check them out and everything. And what's really, really cool about them that I really just discovered about them before making this video is that, and it makes sense with their music because they have a very imperfect sound and very raw type of punk energy. And I like that a lot of their like code and ethos, I think that's how you say it, is that they aren't trying to be perfect. They aren't trying to be meticulously amazing with their work, which, that's stuff that I love. I always like to say, your mistakes are what make who you are. If everyone was perfect, the world would be boring and everything would just be the same. And coming from a culture of Korea where in the music industry, everything, and from K-pop to dramas to indie music to ballads, everything is perfectly crafted. Every story is meticulously made, and just it can get a little bit overwhelming, the over sense of perfectionism here. So it's really nice that this band, it makes more sense with their sound that has a very raw and I wouldn't say unhinged, but just imperfect sound to it that makes it stand out even more amongst their contemporaries. Am I using that right? Or their like fellow bands and musicians here in Korea. So I'm really excited to talk about this band. So let's get into it. In the name of the honeymoon, Sailor Honeymoon is one of the freshest and most simplest sounding Korean bands to come out in recent memory. These girl punk rockers are bringing back that mid 2000s garage rock vibes while also stripping down that sound to create a very unique and personal style that they have really just owned very well with this EP. Their simple and raw sound, you can't help but get caught up in their catchy hooks and just overly mesmerizing playing here. They really do a good job of KIS, keeping it simple. And I would say the one thing that's really helping this band seem so mesmerizing and captivating is the bass playing here. Something about the way that it has that weird buzzing sound to it and the way she has a groovy style of playing just makes it sound really, really good. The bass has such a deep and distorted sound to it that it just hooks you in as you listen to this band. And on certain tracks like Bad Apple, Fuck Yourself, Tired Angels, and Dubu Chanan, just the bass has such an infectious and groovy feel to it that you can't not like you're gonna enjoy it. Like that's all I'm gonna say. It sounds so deep and groovy. And I want to play a clip of Bad Apple for you so you can get a feel for the bass. You say that boys can't hear problematic views through all this noise. Did you tell me to wear a bra? I'm not gonna take you to the cinema. I don't wanna be friends with you. Such a simple sound, but that deep, rich bass sound just like draws you in such a crazy way. The drums really have a nice dynamic sound to them because they switch up their styles throughout the songs. Like on the song PMS Police, it has more of that indie garage rock sound, while on the song Fuck Yourself, the drums kind of remind me of if it was like the Beach Boys, but with a little bit more of a punk twang to it. So I want to play a clip of that song, Fuck Yourself, so you can get a sense of that punkiness they have here at times. Those drums sound dope. And I really like that the drums never really get too like crazy and try to steal the thunder from the band. They're never the center stage of the band, but yet they're really pulled back and keep things going and flowing nicely with their tight playing. But at times the drums do have a nice punchiness to them and really ups their energy level, like on the song Dubu is Chanan. On that song, the drums have a very nice sound to them. The guitars do a really good job of creating a catchy vibe with their scratchy sound and overall groovy pace and flow, particularly on the songs Bad Apple or In Dreams. Especially on In Dreams, where the drums and the guitars really get in sync. They have a nice, catchy, groovy feel to it that just plays out really nice. Vocals on this album at times can sound really good, like on the song Tired Angel. She's coming in real clear, crisp, and sounds great. While sometimes the vocals can be a little bit muffled and a little bit too distorted, like on the song Cockroach. But I also think that was more of a artistic choice than more of a production issue. But it's still a little bit hard to hear at times, so it does throw things off a little bit. But I will say, Tired Angels, her voice sounds really good, and I want to play a clip of that so you can get a sense of like how great of a singer she is. Oh, such a fantastic voice. I'm really surprised that the vocals for the most part are very monotone, and usually that might sound bad in most music, but I think with this melancholy indie rock that they're making here, the slow and soft vocals kind of work with this style. And another thing vocally that sounds really good is the backing vocals from the other music members of the band. They really help elevate the songs and the main vocalist's voice by backing her up very nicely. And lyrically on this EP, I think there's a good balance of being silly, like on talking about Cockroach, where it just she's literally talking about getting a cockroach out of her house. But I think it might be a metaphor for something else. Maybe a guy she needs to kick out of her house who's just like gross and just sticking around and doesn't need to be there. But I could be reading into it. Anyway, it's still pretty silly on a surface level. But then you got more serious songs like PMS Police, where people are trying to tell women how to be and feel with their menstrual cycles and everything. And it's just a very nice contrast of like serious and not so serious lyrics. So you get a really nice balance of who this band is by their music and their lyrics. So I like that. The production on this EP has a very, very punk DIY style, with it sounding very distorted and very raw and very imperfect at times, which weirdly enough makes a lot of the songs sound really unique and different because of those imperfections. However, one imperfection that does kind of take away at times is the muffled, distorted vocals. At times, I think they're a little too distorted, which just distracts from the songs at times, but not enough to ruin this EP, I think. So it seems like the mid 2000s garage rock indie music scene might be on an uptick. Who knows? We'll see where things go. But I would say this band, Sailor Honeymoon, if that big whole indie rock scene kind of blows up again, I think these girls will do a good job of riding that wave and can really help usher into some new and refreshing ideas here in the Korean music scene and just music in general, because they're putting out some really good, like I said, well balanced, self aware, funny, and serious songs here that are easy to digest for anyone who's really into punk and those who just really want to hear some nice somber music at the same time. So they cover a lot of bases in terms of like anyone can enjoy their music, I think. So this latest EP from Sailor Honeymoon, I would give it a nice 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, links down below. Check them out. Thanks for coming on by. Always 고마워요. 너무 좋아요. 그래서 얘들아, 다음에 봐요. 네, 내 이름 매튜 임국수. 다음에 봐. 네.